A name that I really want to bring up to you, though, Joe, that I just don't understand how he's not getting the credit, other than, of course, Tony Gonsolin with the Dodgers, who is currently 10-1, who should be higher than that, with leading Major League Baseball in not only wins but ERA. A name I want to throw out is Miles Michaelis. This guy has been so good in St. Louis. He's got a 2.6 ERA. He's got a winning record. And quite frankly, after losing Jack Flaherty, no one expected anything from this team. No one expected much from this pitching staff. And Miles Michaelis has been, quite frankly, an ace for this team in a team that desperately needed an ace this season. They're right around first place with the Brewers, too. I mean, Miles Michaelis has been phenomenal, and what you can currently get him at is ridiculous. You can currently get him at the same exact price that you can get Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler has been on the IL for a month and has been having a terrible season. Miles Michaelis is having a phenomenal season. He's not even in the top 20 right now.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand, like, he's a little bit different, kind of old school, to strike out as many guys, but does it pop as much when you look at it? But the results are the results. I mean, if he pitches 30-plus starts at a 2.5 ERA, he's going to get Cy Young votes. I mean, that's just the reality of it. He's going to get some votes there. You look at his numbers, other than strikeouts, it's all Cy Young quality, right? The ERA is in the 2.6s. His whip is, I believe, under 1 for the season. Hits per 9 at 7. Less than a home run per 9. He's got everything. And he takes the ball.
100 innings?
Right. I think that's worth the flyer at the. I mean, it's the number, right? If he was 40-1, I would say, well, I didn't strike out enough guys, right? It's not quite the same as it. But over 100-1. The Walker Buehler thing makes no sense. He's done.
None.
He's hurt. He's not come back till September.
Michaelis, 1 of the 10 with 100 innings, tied with Logan Gilbert at 4th in ERA with 2.61, 6th in ground ball rate, 43.8, tied 3rd in walks per 9, 1.88, behind Noah, Fried, and tied with Manoah, and tied 3rd in whip behind Sandy, Noah, and again tied with Manoah. Like, he's up there with everything. Like, he doesn't have the sexy strikeout numbers. He doesn't have as many innings as Sandy, which on this list, Sandy Alcantara's ahead by 20 innings. He's got 123. Second has 103. It's insane. But I mean, at 100-1, he's right there with all the best guys, with all the guys who have at least 100 innings. It makes sense.
Every name you just said, Alec Manoah, you're throwing out the Cy Young names. Yeah, everybody that's up there, and including that, the other name that the comp that you initially said was Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert is plus 40,000-1. I mean, you can get him at 40-1. The same numbers for Miles Michaelis at over 100-1. It just, something's not making sense to me here.
Is it just because Sandy has such an insane lead at this point?
Maybe, but he has the same odds as Walker Buehler. It's like someone's asleep at the wheel about the Cardinals this year. But that makes no sense because Goldschmidt's at the very top of the MVP futures.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking, you shop around you different books. I mean, he has the same number as Merrill Kelly. And I like Merrill Kelly, but come on, Miles is a step up, right? He's
way up.
Same kind of pitcher, right? Control, command, ground balls, but he's better at it. Like, his ERA is probably, almost a run better. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. He's behind Ian Anderson, who had a good start last night, but he's been trashed this season. I mean, Ian Anderson has not been good this season, and he's behind him as well. He's actually in one book behind Freddie Peralta, who hasn't pitched in about a month and a half. It's nuts. I mean, we should just take it right now.
As recently as a week ago, you could get Jacob Degrom at a better price than Miles Michaelis. Jacob Degrom, who hasn't pitched in the major leagues in a full year.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that name up. Jacob Degrom floating out there in the 100-1 range. Mm-hmm. How many starts, Cody, does he have to make? Let's just for a second, just for fun, assume he's the Degrom we saw last year before he got hurt. Like when he gives up a run, it's a surprise. Mm-hmm. How many starts does he have to make to nudge his way in? Like, can he win a Cy Young with 15 starts if he pitches to a 1 ERA? Like, he's unique. He's an alien. Can he do that, or is it over? Does he have no chance?
I don't think he has no chance, but it's got to be last year's DeGrom. And right. When I say last, like you just said, you hit the nail on the head. When he gave up a run, we were all shocked. That's how good.
Someone got
DeGrom was in like the top 5 of the MVP past the All-Star break last year. Like, that's how good his first 2 months of the season were. It was an alien is a great word to describe him. There's no one like him, maybe in the history of baseball. Does it take maybe 15 starts of over 6 innings in a game? Maybe if he pitches like Degrom, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Man, if he does that again, are the writers going to be like, hey, he was right there last year. We couldn't give it to him because Corbin Burns was so good, but wow, he did it again. Like, we have to consider it. And then same with Degrom, like, oh, this guy deserved it last year. If either or both of those guys are in it at the end, I mean, I feel like Scherzer might have a stronger case just because he's going to have a little bit more of a full resume. But if Degrom does exactly what he did last year for the rest of the season, people are going to feel like he deserves one, like, because he deserved one last year and just couldn't finish it.
There is something to the time of year. If he has the same amount of starts as last season, if he gets to 15 starts and throws up those numbers, that 13-to-1 K to walk ratio, and goes deep into games, I by the way, can I just 13-to-1 K to walk ratio is just not real.
He allowed 3.9 hits per nine last year.
It's just we're talking about Miles Michaelis at 7 hits in a game, who should be up in there. It's not 3 hits a game. That's insane. But yeah, if he does that, there is something to be said about the time of year, because you got to keep in mind, we're talking about writers, and the writers are the ones that do the voting of this. If, say, Degrom comes back, pitches 15 starts, take this team into the playoffs, everyone's going to say it's because they brought Degrom back, and of course Scherzer's back. I'm not going to lie to you. If you can currently get Degrom at around 100-to-1, it's worth a flyer. It's definitely worth a sprinkle, because if he goes off like Degrom can go off and he stays healthy, he might be your Cy Young Award winner, because it just is the fact.